You ever look at someone and think like, damn, you're so charismatic. What if I told you that you are too? It's just that you haven't analyzed, understand these three things that's stopping you from actually being charismatic. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly what those three things really are that's actually really stopping you from being the person who you are. Here's the thing. Everybody in this earth is born to be charismatic. Charismatic means to have the power, the warmth, and the present. Everybody has these three things, right? But you have to realize the things that's stopping them from unlocking these three things is not more energy or more information. It's about removing things instead of adding things, right? So what I realized is like I was this guy. I was trying to like, oh, I want to have all these things figured out. Right? I want to learn more about this. I want to be more charismatic. So I can't even talk right now. I should go to the internet, find out what I really need, and just consume more information. But the only thing that was did was I just got into this analysis paralysis, and I never ever actually learned or took the action or become the person who was somewhat confident and a big like what's it called, charismatic, right? So here's the thing that I realized. You might have heard it, like smile more, right? Smile in your eyes, right? Right? And it doesn't work like that because you know you have to smile. You know you have to do those small things to seem like charismatic because when you try to force it, the intention behind it, everybody can see it. So what I realized is like one of the things is that the intention you give, the intention you have behind those things you are doing can actually determine if you are charismatic or not. Those are that thing is one of the most important thing. Other thing that you have heard is like, oh, just act like you don't care. But deep inside, you're fucking dying because you are like afraid of your judgment when you try to act as that person. So here are the three things you need to realize in order to actually be naturally charismatic. Because people have talked about doing this and that, but the thing is, understanding these three things and removing this and stop doing this makes you naturally confident. And I'm telling you. So the first thing you have to realize is that you have to stop impressing people. And I mean it. Because charisma isn't about showing off to anybody. It's not about impressing the person because the thing is, you might be doing certain things for a certain person. Think about it. Why do you really want to be charismatic? The question, right? Here's the thing. The reason why we do it is to impress. Normal. Accepting that can help you understand why you do things, certain things, right? So being aware of the things you are doing is actually important. But when you stop impressing and you start showing up as yourself, things you really want to do, bro, you express like fucking like a god, you know? You're like that, like you feel like you're that person because you're not trying to impress anybody or trying to like get somebody's approval. Here's the thing. Let me give you an example, right? Let's say there's two different people. Let's say the first one, I say like go walk up to a 10-year-old and say something. Let's say, you know what? They come to you and they say like, oh, you are this and that. Something negative, right? You be like, I don't care. Just kid. Second, right? Let's say we get another person who is opposite sex to you, who you are attracted, and says the same thing. Completely different experience. It's because we are putting people up here. Certain people you feel like if they're attractive, if they're that and all that stuff, we have judgment that is superficial. Why do we like feel like someone when somebody is a child, right? We are not like we don't care as much as a person who is like opposite of our or like people who we think we put in pedestal. It's because we are putting them in the pedestal at first. When you stop putting people at a pedestal, everything goes at ease because you don't care. I think letting go of that thing can really help you out. So first thing, stop trying to impress everybody. Then Second will be stop overthinking every single interaction. Because here's the thing, if you're replaying every conversation you have, let's say you went to an event and it didn't go as you wanted to. Here's the thing, when you replay those things there and there, it's like you're trying to come up with these things, you're not being present. And being charismatic, and one of these things, one of the three components is being present. Present in the now, not the past, not what happened or what's gonna happen right now. And every time something mess ups or something happened in the event, you can come back in the now and control that, not your thoughts, but what's happening in front of you. So to stop overthinking, right? I found this small thing that's like changed my whole thing, like changed my whole game, is to switch the focus we are having in ourselves, like fucking having all this self doubt and self criticizing ourselves, is to switch from us to other in a curiosity manner. Now, how do you go about curiosity? Because here's the thing, people talk about, oh, just be curious and just engage, right? But we don't know how the fuck to do. Here's a small thing you can do. It's like, Dion, I need some water. I'll be quick. Okay. What you can do is like there. So here's the thing you can do is that the only way to be curious in anything in life, and this is for like more about social confidence, social life, and more interaction stuff that is gonna be more beneficial to this video, is that to be curious, you need to understand what you're trying to look for. It's finding the actual truth. Being curious is about finding the actual truth. It's like when you're like curious, when you're like that kid who's like always curious, people like that because they can see you trying to learn, you're trying to like engage in everything. So when you switch your focus to a person and find the actual truth, you're trying to find some things you're trying to learn, it's easier for you to connect with anybody because trying to learn from their past, what happened to them, and it makes everything more in depth. You don't have to pretend or you don't have to learn some questions that you have to follow like a fucking interview, right? You don't have to do all that shit. You can be just curious and find the truth in good questioning, of course. It takes skills and also like a lot of time, but understanding only this thing can actually change. Third, stop hiding your true self. Here's the big thing. People think they need to act a certain way, of course. Of course. I'm not saying you cannot become the person you really want to become, but here's the thing. When you go somewhere, anywhere, and you feel like, damn, I want to do this, but I can't. You are hiding your true self because you want to do something and you're not doing it because you think, you fear that other people are going to reject you, they're going to judge you, right? And once you do that, you become more self-conscious. The more self-conscious you become, the more you do the I can't say the thing. The more you overthink and everything, it's hard for you to be like that open guy who is like naturally charismatic. When you like avoid those mistakes, not avoid the mistakes, but you let go of those mistakes. You like, I don't care anymore, right? And you stop hiding your true self. It's way easier for you to connect. And becoming that person you really want to become, and let's say you want to become a charismatic guy, at first, it's going to be hard to pretend. And I'm saying pretend, but becoming that person, you need to, at first, when you're trying to do all that stuff, like let's say you want to have a good boy language. When you try to do that with repetition and everything, it's going to be like a bit too forceful at first. The more you do it, the more you're gonna be hang of it, and the more you do it, the more evidence you have to back up the action you are taking. So it's like you're telling one part of your brain, subconscious mind, that that what I'm doing is the thing I really want to do. And it might be kind of confusing at first, but if you just do it for long enough a time, and also using that feedback you have in order to make it like easier for the next interaction you want to do, it makes everything easier for you. So those are the three things. If you remove right now, like seriously, it's easy. It's not that hard. If you just do it, of course, at first you're like, oh, this is a lot and all that stuff. I'm telling you, anybody can be charismatic if they think they can. Think about it. Anybody, like anybody in this world, can be charismatic if they think they can. Because the thing is, bro, few years ago, I couldn't even had this thought of being this guy who was like this expressive and had this aura, right? I won't say I still have it this right, of course. I have a long way to go right now. But looking back, right, I've made a lot of progress. And I think if I can do it, right, and some people in my community did it, I think you can too. There's nothing stopping you. Of course, there's three things that I told you, but if you just do those three things, right, I'm telling you, you're gonna learn, like, you're gonna 2x the way you express, the way you come across, the way you are in social situation and everything. Of course, there's a lot of things out there, but these three main things are the things that's like limiting you from becoming that charismatic guy, right? And understanding this will not only help you, of course, sure, you all know all these things, and yeah, taking action is a big part. Understanding this is crucial, of course. Awareness level is very important. Now that you already know these three things you have to do, make it into actionable steps. After doing that, I guarantee you, you're gonna see drastic results. And last clip, right? I'm just gonna like plug it in, of course. I just wanted to say like you can talk to me on one-on-one call, and I have a free community inside my thing. You can just check it out, and if you want to join, you want to talk to me one-on-one for free, you can talk about more in depth about the things that's stopping you. We can go more in depth and all that stuff. And if that sounds like you want to really, really improve, you can click the link in the description, and I'll see you there, bro. Take care.